Welcome back to the show. Today's topic: men need to stop disrespecting women. The fact that I have to make this podcast is bothersome, and I think now it's time for men to start stepping up and stop this. This has gone too far. We all have a good laugh, and I'm not saying these voices have to go away, gotta stop, but the rhetoric has to be toned down. The same way that we wouldn't want the opposite sex, going all crazy and being open to just fully on disrespecting us, I get it, and I'm glad that they're being checked the same way, but we need to start checking ourselves, because it's too and even before I didn't even mind it, because it was kind of stuck to YouTube. But again, now I'm seeing it in physical life, where men are going out and talking to women like this and being full on and disrespectful. And when I hear some of this stuff in public, and it triggers into someone that I know I've heard on YouTube, it's a problem. That means that, yes, I'm not saying the message isn't reverberating, but my question to you would be, what is it reverberating? Is reverberating a message of hating women? It's reverberating a message of not being cooperative, of painting women by a certain brush, or all women by a certain brush, when it's not all women and it's not all men that are painted with this overall brush. And it's funny because I hear all these people saying, oh, it's not all women, not all, and it's only some, but it's only after they get called out, after they create such a headroom or such a headway, that then it's like, oh, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying most. And that's how you get away with it. And then you get to, by saying most, oh, not all but most, you're still implying a high ass percentage, and you have no freaking scientific data or even any stats that prove it. Or I don't need any stats to prove it. I just have my eyes. Bro, your eyes. You ain't a world traveler. You ain't in every city in every all over the United States or all over the world. And even if you did, you couldn't have enough interactions with people to even fathomly get a clear enough perspective where you say, oh, this is most for the that's why even when I throw out my stats, I use divorce, and I've said it before, it's probably closer to 75%, but that's even that it's not what's I'm not making that number out of my ass. There's certain people that think it's as high as 75% with studies that they have, and even in other cases it's about 50%, but I use it in a context of saying, hey, people are splitting up. I don't imply that it's people are splitting up because women are cheaters and women are horrible and women are hypergamous, which even if they are and all that stuff is true, it doesn't matter. Back in the days, men kept that between our circles. We kept that in with our best friend, with the man that became the best man at our wedding, with our buddies. We kept that with just our guy group. Now we're letting guys that have no life experience or not the same life experience trying to tell you how you should be towards women, when that's not, and maybe it doesn't work in your area, maybe it doesn't work the way you see it. Just because the message resonates with you doesn't mean that that's what you need to be doing in your life. It's entertaining, and take it as such. But now some of these guys in the manosphere are completely going on unhinged, and somehow think that they're become the voice of as far as the voice, the authority, as what dictates a good life. Some of the people that I hear, or even that follow, again, I'm not opposed, and I know I'm coming off as completely hating on the manosphere, and I'm not. I think there's dialogue to be had. I think the fact that there's voices on the other side bringing it, and that's why I even said earlier, I don't think they should be banned or taken off, and their message shouldn't be spread. I think they need to put themselves on check and say, hey, I'm painting a too broad of a brush. And now I'm so influential that I am now affecting these men's mind that I need to be more diligent, and there is a responsibility. You can't get off on the fact that you're saying, oh, I'm just an entertainer, I'm just putting it out here. No, you're giving out an image, and there's men that their lives are being changed because they're taking stuff too literal. They're missing out on great women because they're taking advice too literal. They're taking risks where they don't need to be doing because they're not prepared, because that's what you tell them to do. And everybody's like, oh, well, I'm just telling them if it doesn't apply to them, I'm only speaking to these people, I'm only speaking to these kind of men, I'm only speaking to these other kind of men, I'm only speaking to thugs, I'm only speaking to whatever the hell you want to speak to. You hide behind that, but not taking full responsibility for the influence that you have. And now we're seeing it germinate in young men's minds, and now you're hearing it regurgitate from my age guys because they don't know anything, because we weren't taught anything, and it's repulsed by the OGs that hear it, and they're like, what are you guys doing? Like the people that are 50, 60-year-olds, are looking down and being like, what the hell is this? Like, everything's weird. Like, you guys are backwards. And I think we are, with the fact that we're just allowed ourselves and allow men to just disrespect women as if that's the key. That's what we need to be doing, and that somehow is going to make it all better. And don't get me wrong, it is therapeutic to be able to sit there and chop the shit with guys and say, hey, look, my girl cheated, my ex did this, or my current girlfriend's doing this, oh, you learn this, you learn that. And I get the hive community where you could learn. If you have 10,000 people and you have 3,000 examples of cheating exes, you're gonna get a nice idea of what cheating is. And that's the beauty of the internet, where now the information is brought in and you get more of that data back. The problem is, again, the other users are not filtering it because they're accepting it as truth. But the creators that are doing this have to put some kind of checks on them because of the responsibility that they have. Just because their message is sensationalized and made for the clicks, for the attention, but yet you have wives, you have daughters, you have girlfriends, you're living counter to what even the message that you're saying, and yet you're not holding yourself accountable and saying, look, it's this. I get it, if you put out information as to, look, hold yourself better, hold in a better frame, whatever it is that you guys want to fucking learn and want to teach is fine. But when you reach a certain platform or a certain level of influence, and you guys know that you guys are being are influencers, then you have to take some kind of responsibility and start not filtering your message, but tailoring it where it's not about disrespect. It's not about putting women down. It's not calling them the C word, the W word. It's not calling them the B word. It's not calling them any kind of word. It's about, hey, you know what? We're aware of the situations. We're aware of what they do, but I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to hold myself to better whatevers. And if it does happen because women are all like this, then I won't be as affected. And letting that conversation be that. No, now we want to, put them on video, record them. We want to put them on blast. We want to humiliate them. We want to do all this kind of crazy things where I'm like, wait, where did we all decide that was okay to do? And don't get me wrong, again, I said it before, when it was just the us men, when it was just men on men and no one else, no females were getting hurt, no females were getting disrespected, no females were getting laughed at, no females were getting treated like trash, I had no problem with that. The thing that we were doing back then is that we were learning. We were saying, hey, you know what, my wife is acting this way, what do you think? Well, you know what, I had a problem with my wife, but I checked her, I did this, I did that, and it made men better. We are going the opposite way. And the only question that I ask myself is, well, why? Why are we going backwards? Why are we going against the, we should be becoming better men. We should be becoming, we should be becoming, like I said, better men. We should be becoming more attentive, more loyal. And don't get me wrong, women should be doing the same thing. And I think, unless I'm fucking, wrong, they are trending into that way. But just like every, civilization that's been given freedom and rights that they deserve, granted, they tend to take it a little bit to the extreme, and that's what we're seeing now. But now we've become the same thing that we despise, is this regurgitation of, bashing women, and all women are horrible, and look at this and look at that, and then have, these content creators hide, behind the fact that not all, but most, or for the most part, and try to skew the conversation into how evil the women are, how horrible their actions are, and go out of the way to not only put stuff that's already viral. Maybe they it's like going out of the way to find it in their personal life, to put screenshots of their text messages with women, and then like putting their info so other men could go bash them. I mean, when did that become the thing that we did in the manosphere? When is that the thing that we're teaching men to do that in your personal life? And that's what I'm maybe do this, because when I'm seeing them disrespect, I'm hearing the stuff that they're saying and reading in their own freaking text messages and in their own voicemails that they'll post on Facebook groups, that they'll post on their Facebook walls, that they'll post on Twitters, that they'll post on Instagrams, that they'll do on TikTok, that they'll do all of this stuff. And I hear the same message to several of these manosphere influencers, or MGTOW influencers, if people will get that, or men self-betterment coaches, is if you get that. I hear it a lot. So I'm like, whoa, now it's spilling over. So these who's holding them accountable? And I'm sure there's people go on, and I see a lot of the videos, and I see people trying to check them. And don't get me wrong, again, I find it amusing, because that's what makes them influencers. You have a good time when watching them. But again, when you check them, they hide behind a sort of a thing. But what happens when people start taking lives, when people start doing something to the extreme because that's what they heard over and over and over again in these echo chambers? We like to talk about how women have their echo chambers, and that's it's toxic, but man, we have the same echo chambers that we could go down to, and it becomes just as toxic to us, and sometimes even worse on men, because then we could end up being super violent. I'm not saying there isn't examples of women being violent, but men tend to outnumber in that aspect, because we add fuel to it. Now we're adding fuel to a man's misery because he's heartbroken because his wife cheated on. Then he goes on these manosphere pages, and then he hears everyone saying, hey, you know what, she's a this, she's a that, all these signs. Yes, great, he learned the signs and what to look for. And just like it's always known, it's like the red pill rage in the manosphere. That red pill rage, as it's called, is a scary, and anybody that's dealt with it, and I'm saying, it's by many names, but I think the only way I'm going to get it across is by this, because the red pill has been all over the internet. But this red pill rage is super dangerous. It's called like the awakening, when you understand, you see all the signs of the breakup and what was happening. It doesn't have this happen, and it all look, it doesn't always have to deal with infidelity, even if it's like one of those take a break or stuff like that. And not even just with relationships with your girlfriend or wife. Sometimes some of that stuff spills over into your workplace, especially when you're talking about taking advantage of, standing up for yourself and stuff like that. That's why I said towards the end, like, self-betterment, because even in that aspect and in a work related setting, I'm seeing this becoming a thing, and men losing their jobs. And in 2021, you can't afford to lose a job right now because of some stupid ass information that you hear. Let me take that back. Misapplied information from a source that's not filtering it. that's coming out and being sensational because it gets the click, it gets the views, it gets people to, donate that money on that, live streams and stuff like that. And I get it. You want people, I can't be mad at them when the newspapers do the same thing with their stupid articles, and reputable with their stupid clickbait all over the, their news articles and whatever. I can't even get mad because they're just doing what's proven to work. But what have we learned with the, quote unquote media, or as is, was once, said, I haven't heard it much, but the fake news, that it was, a lot of people believe that stuff and take that to heart, where, if you're on that, say what, if CNN put something up, how many people are going to say, oh yeah, people will believe it blindly? Or if something Fox puts up, oh yep, look, all those Republicans, following it blindly. So it's not as innocent as it's being portrayed. And I get the humor in it, and I get the same thing why women find the humor when they put us down. And it's, again, to a point, but now we're disrespecting women. We're taking it too far. We're taking it to a point where it's no longer entertainment and it's spilling into real life. And the fact that men are talking to women is unacceptable like this. The fact that they are so free with exposing sensitive information is unacceptable. And it's up to us, men, if we want to be all alpha and all this, oh, I'm high value, I'm high alpha, oh, I'm high moral, I'm high standard, I'm the top of the top, then we have to be the first ones to put the other men in check when they're not, standing up to that standard that we hold ourselves to. And if we see men disrespecting women, it's up to us to call them out, not say, hey, he's speaking truth. He could be speaking truth, and that's great, but you tone it down. You keep that shit to yourself. You keep that shit to group. You don't go out and tell your wife that. You don't go out and tell your girlfriend that. You don't go and disrespect your boss like that. You don't go out and approach women like that. That's not the way you do it. You understand the nature. Hey, yes, I understand. That's the part that I get. The information, the knowledge being passed on is cool. I get that. But the actions now, the sleaziness, the straight not giving a F about how you go about it, and you're just going to disrespect women, not only online, which is, again, but funny videos was acceptable. Hey, you got caught, right? We all get it. Hey, mama, you know what? You got caught. Now we all see it. Sorry. It went viral, I guess, and you hope not. But now people are going out of their way. Almost as to, even with some of the videos that I get annoyed, on my Facebook feed, oh, my girlfriend cheated, but it's just two comedians acting out of it. It's nothing about cheating or infidelity. It's funny to begin with. And now it's that kind of that's one thing too. Sensationalizing it has affected our culture to the extreme. But when you go into these male platforms, on Reddit, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on any kind of of online presence, you look at hear it. And again, these content creators, I know, are seeing it, are hearing it in the questions that they're being asked. I see them stunned by hey, come on. Even they are sometimes taken aback to how aggressive the message is being taken, and I'm hoping that they realize before it goes too far. Whether it's already gone too far, I don't know. But that's why I felt like doing this damn podcast on this topic, because I think it's enough. It's enough of the bashing on both sides. But we can't control women, right? But we can control men. And if we're gonna say about hide this and alpha that, then we need to keep ourselves in check, and we need to lead by example. Be the strong one, be the leader, be saying, hey, yo, we get it, but we don't do that over here. We don't put women down over here. We don't disrespect women down over here. If you want to do that, fine, go out of here. And I get it. My point is that to get enough men to say, hey, get out of here, that there isn't going to be a group of people that are going to be, and don't like everything, you can't completely wipe anything away. And no matter how small it is, just like we see with the KKK, no matter how much we want to eradicate them and how much laws and restrict their speech, they're still going to somehow, some way find the freaking hole in the wall to sit there and gather. And the point is to make that happen, to make them so uncomfortable that it's gonna get away and go into a hole. We recognize it and we understand it, but this bad mouthing and degrading women, who cares? Let them do them if they want to do it. It's ultimately, right, it's not about them, the message is about us. So let them do them. Let them come back and realize what we have. But at the meantime, we focus on what we have or what we don't have, and then work towards achieving it, to get what we don't have. But this going around and just bad mouthing women and, oh my God, look, she's fat and she's not a 7 and she's, oh my God, look, she wants a baby daddy, but she has 2 kids. Like, what? When did this become cool? Like, when did this become like the thing to do? Oh, I'm gonna screenshot this girl because she asked me, she said, what are you gonna ask me for dinner? Oh, she a gold digger, bro. Oh, she's using you, bro. Like, what? Come on. Like, we're losing it here. So anyways, I hope you guys, enjoyed the topic. Let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe I'm just being like super simp over here as like in the manosphere is being said, but I just think it's high time that we as men stop that shit and put an end to that shit and take ourselves accountable and say, you know what, we get it. It is what it is. If that's the thing you want to accept, but you want to hold yourself to a higher standard, and you're not going to go around disrespecting women, no matter what you think of them. So like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time.